My name is MT. I am a poet, and other intersections between Filipinx and Latinx folks, particularly in literary and poetic circles, include the ways we play with language. I play with a lot of Tagalog in my poetry, sometimes Spanish, depending on what it is that I'm writing about, or the context, the background, and also on voice. And I've noticed that when it comes to playing with language, or even found language for that matter, me and a lot of the folks in my network, we have a lot of similar strategies in regards to how we approach language and what we think of language. I have a friend who is a Chicana, Latina poet. We had a very, very thought-provoking conversation about what does it mean to write about your language when, one, you may not be fluent in it, or two, you might be struggling or losing your fluency. And for me, it's the latter that I'm struggling with. I grew up speaking Tagalog, but because I primarily communicate in English, there are definitely times where I forget my parents' language, times where I forget the simplest words for things. Like, I think the other day I forgot what arm meant in Tagalog, and I was struggling so hard, and I was really pushing myself not to look it up online and not to look it up on Google Translate. And then finally, I realized it was brazo. And I just felt so embarrassed and a little bit ashamed of myself for forgetting that. And this friend that I had a conversation with, she said that she felt the same way as someone who grew up third generation Chicana, Latina. It's how we're constantly rethinking our relationship with language because of diaspora, because of race, because of systems of white supremacy that have stripped us that have really altered and even stripped our relationship with language, with our mother tongues across the generations. So I'm always thinking about ways that I can revitalize my relationship with Tagalog, with language, and what does that mean or look like for me, especially as I keep growing and changing.